What if I told you that you're making presentation mistakes right now that are killing your ideas and you don't even realize it? You've crafted your message carefully and created professional slides, but if you're making just one of these critical mistakes, it could all be for nothing. Your presentation is only as effective as the action it inspires. After 3+ decades helping Fortune 500 executives with high-stakes presentations, we at Duarte have discovered that most failures aren't from obvious problems like nervousness, but they come from invisible mistakes even experienced presenters make. These hidden errors cost deals. They prevent brilliant ideas from being adopted, and they stall careers. The worst part? Your audience simply disengages without even telling you why. I'm going to show you 5 critical mistakes that very few people realize they're making in their presentations, and more importantly, exactly how to fix them before they sabotage you. Mistake number 1, information overload. Here's something remarkable. One of our facilitators told us that in every single workshop he facilitated over 5 years, which is 211 of them, when he asked, "What makes a bad presentation?" someone always says, "Too much information." That's right. 211 workshops out of 211. You couldn't get that many people to agree on what day of the week it is. Yet, this presentation mistake is so universal, it's the one thing everyone recognizes immediately. Yet most presenters still cram slides with every piece of data they can find, thinking more is better. But here's the truth. The more facts we hear, the less any of them stick. Your presentation is not about a data dump. It's a conversation with stakes. When you overwhelm your audience, they don't just get bored, they completely disengage from your message. Here are several tips you can implement today to avoid this mistake. Instead of reciting facts, tell your audience what those facts mean. As one executive told me, "I need insight, not just information." When you present data, always answer the "so what" question. If you show third quarter sales dropped 15%, explain why it happened and what it means for the future. Try the simple test for each slide. If you removed it completely, would your main message still get across? If yes, it probably doesn't belong in your presentation. Mistake number 2, using jargon your audience doesn't understand. We've all been there, sitting in a presentation where someone throws out an acronym you don't recognize. Suddenly, you're not listening anymore. You're stuck trying to figure out what those letters mean while the presenter keeps talking. I saw this happen when I sat in on a rehearsal for a company's big marketing presentation. They kept using acronyms like PPC, but never explained what it meant, probably because they used that term 79 times a day. I, however, don't live, eat, and breathe marketing acronyms. It took me a few seconds to remember what they meant. Pay per click. That might not sound like a big deal, but do the math. The average rate of speech is about 130 words per minute. 5 seconds to decode an acronym means I've missed out on 10 words, basically a whole sentence. Every time the presenter used the acronym, it was the equivalent of me putting on earmuffs for the next 5 seconds. This doesn't just apply to acronyms. It includes all jargon, technical terms, and insider language. When you force your audience to translate, you lose them. Here are several tips you can implement today to avoid this mistake. Apply the grandmother test. If your grandmother wouldn't understand it, neither will half your audience. Define acronyms the first time, even if you think everyone knows this one, because someone doesn't. Trade jargon for everyday language. You're not dumbing down, but you're ensuring that your ideas get heard. Get someone outside your team to review your presentation. If they're confused, your audience will be too. And of course, if you're speaking to a group who lives and breathes the same acronyms as you, you're probably fine, but gut check that assumption so you don't end up with confused or disengaged faces staring right back at you. Mistake number 3, failing to connect emotionally. Have you ever sat through a perfectly logical presentation and felt absolutely nothing? The data was solid, the arguments made sense, but something vital was missing. Here's the truth that took me years to learn. Even in the most analytical environments, decisions are driven by emotion. Facts alone, they don't move people to action, but the feelings do. We get so caught up in our expertise that we forget this fundamental truth. We perfect our slides, and showcase stats while neglecting what actually moves audiences is the emotional connection. Data matters, but without emotional context, your meticulously crafted presentation becomes just another forgettable information dump. I saw this firsthand with a compliance team frustrated by their sales department ignoring their recommendations. Their pitch was, "This will help us remain compliant." But is compliance what motivates salespeople? Of course not. When we reframed it to, "This will help us avoid a catastrophic collapse that could destroy careers," suddenly they were all ears. Same information, entirely different outcome. Here are several tips you can implement today to avoid this mistake. First, think about your audience. What keeps them up at night? Frame your message around their emotional reality. Next, add stories that bring data to life. We're wired to remember narratives, not numbers. And the third thing is add emotional texture to analytical content. A simple analogy can transform dry facts into something meaningful. Mistake number 4, presenting facts without a clear point of view. We were helping one workshop participant with his presentation, and we asked, "Okay, what's your point of view?" He said, "The team made a lot of mistakes." I told him, "That's not a point of view, that's just a fact." He looked confused. I explained the difference between a point of view and a fact, and he tried again. "The team keeps making mistakes." Round and round we went. Did he have an opinion as to how the team could get better? Was there a particular mistake the team needed to stop making? Eventually, he came up with something. But for the rest of the day, I pictured him going through life, making factual, opinionless statements. Green is a combination of yellow and blue. Socks can be made of either cotton or wool. An incredible number of people have trouble expressing point of view. They have plenty of facts, and facts, they're safe. But a point of view, it's a huge problem because you give your audience an idea to adopt, often taking the chance that they'll disagree with you. Here are several tips you can implement today to avoid this mistake. Before creating a single slide, write down your actual opinion in one sentence. And if you can't disagree with it, it's probably not a point of view. For every key fact in your presentation, answer, "So what does this mean? What should we do differently because of this information?" Don't hide behind your data. Your audience needs your expertise and judgment, not just information they could read themselves. Remember, if you don't have a clear point of view, you're not giving a presentation. You're just sharing information. And information alone rarely inspires action. Mistake number 5, ending without a clear call to action. It's amazing how many presentations, even the good ones, end without telling the audience what they should now go do. Or they give direction that's so vague, "I need your support," that it could mean almost anything. One of the best presentations I ever witnessed ended with the speaker asking everyone to pull out their phones. She waited until everyone had them pulled out and then asked them to schedule a reminder for 1 month from that date. Specific, actionable, and impossible to misinterpret. Without a clear call to action, even the most persuasive presentation becomes just an interesting conversation, not a catalyst for change. Here are several tips you can implement today to avoid this mistake. Picture your audience loving your presentation. Now that they're convinced, what specific action do you want them to take when they return to their desk? Make your ask clear and actionable. Instead of, "I need your support on this project," try, "Please approve the budget request by Friday." Or, "I need you to speak with your team about implementing this change next week." Whenever possible, have your audience take the first step towards your goal during the presentation itself. End by reminding them what's at stake, both the benefit of acting and the cost of not acting. These 5 mistakes might seem simple, but they're the difference between presentations that persuade and those promptly forgotten. The good news, most professionals aren't aware of these critical mistakes. By addressing even a few, you'll immediately improve your ability to motivate and inspire. Your ideas will gain traction, your recommendations will be adopted, and your influence will grow. If you want to take your presentation to the next level, I've created our Pocket Guide to Presentations. It's a single-page resource packed with techniques for everything from slide design to delivery. We've distilled decades of experience into this printable guide you can keep on your desk. Click the link in the description to download it for free. See that? A clear call to action. Until next time.
you.